Hey, how's it going, Cat Army? FSOA Gaming here with a pretty cool video. So today, T238, our lovely friends, has sent in some pretty cool stuff to test. So for the first one, we got the T238 Digital Trigger Unit Optical Sensor version. So this particular model is the version 2 1.7 Pro. This MOSFET is absolutely a banger. I'm just gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna know like all the spoilers right here. This is a great MOSFET. So you can see it comes with the manual, a really cool nice PVC style patch, and as you can see, it does come with Tamiya connectors and the stickers you will be needing to put on your selector plate. And right here is the MOSFET itself. So as you can see, the packaging is really nice. And I'm just checking underneath to see if there's anything else, anything like cool stickers and stuff. But as you can see, this is the MOSFET. It almost kind of looks like a Gate Titan style, where it kind of has like this clamp style MOSFET where it comes in like two pieces, as you can see. So if you just slightly pull the pins very carefully, the top will come right off, exposing all the wires you can see. So as you can see, there's a little bit more extra wires. Here's one right here, and here's another one right here. And the reason why these are here are actually for gel blasters. So if you didn't know, gel blasters are pretty much using version 2 gearboxes, like APS style ones. And so if you wanted to upgrade your gel blaster with a MOSFET, you can, or if you wanted to use the Airsoft one, you can as well. And as you can see, it does have DIN connectors already wired on with the motor connectors already placed on, so you don't have to do any soldering out the bat if you're using DIN. So that's really nice to see. And if you just wanted to take those little wires off, if you are using for Airsoft, you just have to clip them off or desolder them off. So super simple and very easy to do. And as you can see, T238 also sent me a brand new 37K brushless motor, and this is the QBRLS. These things are absolutely beautiful, and if you haven't already, I did a video review in great detail for their 25K one, which is the exact same quality, but this is the 37K RPM one. And as you can see, the motor tower belt does slightly move, and it does have a D-style pinning gear, so it makes it super easy to swap them out if needed. And they sent it to me because one of my lovely Cat Army subscribers has commented that I should review one. So thank you, Casey Key, for commenting that, because now I have one and now you get a lovely review. So as you can see, we're just going to put this to the side and we're going to start the installation process. So I'm going to open up this bag right here just to check inside to see what type of goodies there are. And as you can see, under closer inspection, they did give you two little springs, and these are for actually the gel blasters for those two little wires if you did decide to keep them on. And it has this little foam little pad that you can put on the other side of the shell of the gearbox if you have a lot of room between them. And it does come with extra motor connectors, which are really nice to have. Definitely, this is your first time doing it and you accidentally bend the motor connectors too many times and break them, you have a backup, so it's really nice to see that. And you got this manual, very nice. I do really appreciate the pictures and the colors. It's really nice. I like it. And as you can see, it has it in Chinese and also has it in English as well for our English peeps out there. And yes, the manual is pretty straightforward. I was able to install it and also program it via the manual. I didn't have to look anything up. So yes, let's get into the installation. So after you clean out your gearbox, go ahead and take the MOSFET and just place it right into the gearbox. Now make sure, don't force it down if it doesn't want to sit properly. Make sure you look around and see if it's interfering or rubbing against anything. So for my instance, for this G&G gearbox, had a little bit of rubbing on the top end. So I did have to take a little bit of a Dremel and just Dremel adjust the slightest off. It only took me about maybe 10 seconds of Dremeling. But after that, it sit nice and flush and I was able to continue the install. And included inside of the bag, there is this little silicone washer. So you essentially use it just like a washer for the screw. That way the metal part of the screw isn't resting on top of the MOSFET either. And after this, you're pretty much done. So you do need to take out your cutoff lever. You do not need your cutoff lever at all. This MOSFET pretty much takes out that whole mechanism. But one thing you do need that I don't have for the video's sake is a working safety cutoff lever. So for my case, I didn't have one in my little shop, so I'm actually going to have to order one in. But for the video's sakes and purposes, we can still at least test to make sure we have the semi-auto and full auto capability, and also just see how the brushless build sounds. So after making the MOSFET nice and snug, go ahead and just check it out to make sure it doesn't wiggle around. And also it is essential to make sure that your bushing and as your MOSFET, as you can see right there where the light sensors are, where it detects the sector gear, are nice and even with the bushing. So just make sure you take your time, make sure everything's lined up while you're installing your MOSFET. That way you don't need to take your gun apart and tweak things later on. And for the wiring configuration part of this video, as you can see, we're just going to start off with the small red signal wire first. So we're just going to lay the thinnest wire in there. So for some gearboxes, if you say you have a retro arms gearbox, there's actually some little cutouts where you can actually tuck the wires behind, which is really nice, so you know that your wires aren't going to get hit by any of the pinning gears or the bevel gears spinning at high speeds. But for my case, for the G&G Sim16 gearboxes, we do not have those cutouts. So if this is just like for your gearbox for the sake, just make sure that you lay down the wires to make sure that they do not get clipped by any of the gears that are moving at all. So just make sure you tuck them down. I know some people, they tend to super glue them down. I don't like doing that just in case you do need to readjust or take anything out. So just go ahead, push them down, and make sure they're not sticking up before you put your motor in. And make sure when you push your motor in, you don't push too hard. If there's resistance, make sure the wires are not poking up. But for most cases, if you do those steps correctly, you shouldn't have any issues. But I'm just letting you guys know because it has happened to me in the past and it sucks. And as you can see right here, after we got the red wires laid down, we're going to take the black wire that goes all the way to the Dean's connector, and we're going to run that through right up on top just like this. So as you can see, I got a little confused at first because the wires are a little bit on the shorter side for the positive wires, but after a little bit of figuring it out and looking online, I've seen that this is pretty much how everybody else runs it, so I shall run it too, and it works out pretty freaking good. So this is pretty much how you want to have it ran. If you want to take a little picture or screenshot it, go ahead. And for my case, I was using a Jeftron Skyla. I'm gonna throw a little bit of shade. They said it was brushless mode for the Skyla version 2s, yet I'm having a crap ton of issues. And after talking to the customer service and a couple other techs on this platform, yeah, pretty much everybody else was having very similar issues to what I was having, which pretty much put my whole build on halt. So for the meantime, T238 coming to the rescue as the underdog and absolutely just killing the top competitors, and you'll see why in just a little bit. And just another little thing I do like about this Mosfet is that you don't need to put on a little magnetic clamp around the trigger like the prunes and the Jeftrons. And you can just pretty much just throw in any trigger just like this, and then after that you just need to put the top of the Mosfet on and just slide it on to the prongs, and you'll be good to go. Just do it nice and gentle. Make sure you don't push too hard. Make sure that the prongs are going into the right areas. And after you finish that, close up your gearbox and check the fitment inside and make sure, just pretty much you want to see how much room there is between the Mosfet. So if you do have a lot of room, there's a lot of gap and space, you can go ahead and put on the included little spongy little pad right there, and go ahead and close it up and see how it fits. Make sure you don't push down too hard if there is resistance. You don't want to squish on the Mosfet. And once you finish those steps, you're pretty much home free to start building your gun. But do not worry, I am going to show you guys where to put your selector sticker on, because there's a lot of confusion on the interwebs when I saw for this Mosfet. So I'll explain it to you and I'll show you guys what worked really good for my gun. So stay tuned. And for all my tech people out there that are on this channel, I'll be pretty much explaining what I'm using for this 37K brushless build if you guys wanted to replicate it or if you guys needed help with yours. So for the gear set, I'm going to be using the 1301 Rocket gears, short stroke 2 teeth from the pickup side. As well, for the Mosfet, we are again using the T238 version 2 1.7 Mosfet, paired along with a max speed trigger. And for the compression assembly, we're going to be using the real deal tappet plate spring. We're going to be using the stock G2 tappet plate since it is proprietary to this shell, because this is the updated B-feed Sim16 shell. We're also going to be using the real deal cylinder head, air nozzle. We're going to be using a cylinder and the 2025 Real Deal Ultimate Piston paired alongside with the FPS Soft Air Piston head. And for the powertrain, we're going to be using, of course, the T238 37K QBRL5 brushless motor paired with the M130 from an SHS. And we're actually going to be popping off 397 FPS to about 400 FPS. So I do need to short stroke another teeth later on and have a little bit of extra time, but for right now it's just shooting super hot and super fast. So let's get on to the rest of the build. And just as I promised, here is the configuration to the selector plate. So as you can see, I went ahead and used a black paint marker and pretty much just painted in the whole selector plate. And I'll actually show you what paint marker I used right here. Picked it up at Walmart for about $3 and it works phenomenal. So included in the little bag, there's a yellow paper right there with a whole bunch of white stickers. So as you can see, I pretty much put the white sticker halfway on the selector's plate, and it works pretty well. I actually took the advice from ASD Kilo on his video for this T238 Mosfet, and yes, just like how he said, it works perfectly. I have no issues. I didn't even have to readjust it once, so I'm pretty happy with the configuration of the sticker on the selector plate. So if you guys need, go ahead and pause it, copy it, and see how it works for your build and do slight adjustments based off of that. It's not like the Perunes where you have the sliver of black. It's pretty much on the halfway mark. So just remember that if you guys do want to install this yourself. And as you can see, I forgot I need to install a safety latch, so that's not an issue of the MOSFET, that's my own issue. So, but as you can see, the gun shoots absolutely amazing. And for the HUP system, we're using the Retro Arms HUP unit paired with the 6.02 Type bore barrel from the Real Deal Airsoft. And for the bucking, it is going to be the Maple Leaf Super Macaron with the Omega tensioner as well. And unfortunately, the Lancet Tactical Maycap that I did have, the spring just took a crap. It just stopped pushing the BBs up. But I did get a good reading, about 35 rounds a second. And for the FPS, I probably need a short stroke at about 1 or 2 to really, bring it down for outdoor field use. So as you can see right here, we got the gun fully assembled and put back together. Now before I go into the shooting video, I want to show you guys something pretty cool about this receiver. So if you look up close, this whole receiver is actually 3D printed by my buddy Nick C. I'll put his little hop-up profile right here. I believe this receiver is about $50, and as you can see, I do have a G&G Combat Machine gearbox inside, but I did run a Retro Arms gearbox with this one and it ran perfectly fine as well. So without further ado, let's load it up with some BBs and let's give it a little shooting test. It's gonna shoot into the distance. I haven't adjusted the hop up yet, so we shall see. I don't think I need to. That thing's shooting beams. Holy moly. And of course, everybody wants to see the full auto. Wow. Okay. Second mag. Load it in. Oh, let's go get some full auto. Look at that. Wow. Already out. Each mag is 120 rounds, so as you can see, it does shoot pretty freaking fast. Semi-auto. This mag kind of sucks. Ooh.
Oh my god. I get it.
So as you can see, the gun shoots absolutely phenomenal. But there is just a little bit of a gripe about this MOSFET that some people might find annoying. So let me talk about that. So with a lot of other MOSFETs out there like the Jettrons and the Perunes, you can kind of fine tune your auto braking or pre-cocking a little bit more better than with this one. For instance, for the trigger sensitivity, the only modes are normal, sensitive, and then AUG mode. But the only other issue that I kind of see with this MOSFET, it's not really an issue, it's just kind of a preference thing. It's whenever you want to go to change any type of programming, you have to disconnect your battery, go into semi-auto or full auto, depending which one you want to change, and hold on the trigger and go through the whole selection process again. But in reality, it doesn't really take that long, and you shouldn't have to really redo it over and over once you tune your gun the first time you build and get comfortable with it. One thing that stands out is that I did have, I'm not throwing any shade at any other Mosfets or anything, but I've had Peruns, I had Jetrons, and I definitely had Gatons. Have some issues with brushless motors over time. You can also see that with a lot of Reddit forums that has been happening, unfortunately. And it's just really unfortunate when you spend a lot of money on a build and only thing stopping it is just an incompatibility with your Mosfet and the brushless motor. But with this one, I am having no issues whatsoever, as this is made by T238, running a T238 brushless motor. But the best part is, this Mosfet is under 50 bucks. Yes, it is an optical Mosfet for 50 bucks, and it runs brushless motors absolutely freaking perfect. Now the crazy part about it is just the price. You get so much tuning, so much abilities for this Mosfet, while you can see there's like SEMA Mosfets out there, which is just a basic fuse and a trigger assembly, going for $35, and this is only 10 bucks more. So I don't even understand why these aren't being, you know, pretty much everywhere in everybody's guns. They're very easy to install. It works absolutely amazing. You can run it with non-brushless, you can run it with brushless, and it rips. This thing is just, it rips. So if you guys like this video and you guys like T238, go ahead and check out my description down below. I have their website where you guys can check out the Mosfet, and you guys can actually check out the brushless motor I'm using in this video specifically. So if you guys have any questions about the build, or you need help with your own personal build, do not hesitate to comment down below or hit me up on my Instagram for any help. I'd love to help you guys. Anyways, that is the video of the brushless gun. Have a wonderful day, Cat Army. Peace.